Something I'll hear all the time on the lesson tee is students telling me that they're trying to turn more in their backswing. Maybe they tell themselves they're not very flexible, they're working on their rotation, they're trying to turn, they're trying to get more distance. But what if I told you that that swing thought of trying to just turn more in your backswing is actually making your golf swing shorter and actually causing you distance? So in this video, we're going to talk about what is a better swing thought for you in your backswing to help you get a longer backswing, to help you getting more distance, and also get you hitting the ball more solid. Okay, so you're standing over the golf ball and you're telling yourself, I've got to turn to make a big backswing and to get some distance. And what I'll end up seeing is something that looks like this here. Now, yes, I am turning, but what do you notice? Where's my head gone? Yes, my head's moved over my right foot. Okay, and the problem isn't so much that they are not supposed to turn, it's that turning is only one piece of the puzzle in the backswing. There's actually three motions of my spine that are at play, and if I miss the other two, which so often people do and they just turn, this is what they're gonna end up looking like. And then what happens right here? Notice my left arm here, I can't go any farther than this. So the swing actually gets too short, which is costing you distance, but then you're also going to be prone to hitting the ground where? Somewhere back here behind the golf ball. Okay, so what we need to look at is what's actually happening with our body in the golf swing, and what do we need a little bit more of in the actual backswing to get that club to travel back farther. Okay, so yes, we do need to turn the backswing, but there's two other things that are at play here. And that is I need to have some extension in my backswing, and I also need some side bending or tilting as well. So what would that kind of look like? Well, we're gonna break them all down individually. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take the golf club and we're just gonna put it right up here across my chest here and across my arms. So if I set up to the golf ball, I am in what we would call a forward bend or flexion. So the first thing that actually is happening all happens at the same time. The first one we're going to talk about is I'm actually extending or standing up. So right now I'm standing up and I'm now level to the ground. My shoulders are level here. So from here, what we're going to do first is the rotation piece. But watch how this is going to work. We're going to rotate so that this golf club is right in line with the stick here between my feet. So it's going to look like this right here. Okay, and notice what this actual rotation is. Notice my right shoulder is moving where? Back behind my head, while my left shoulder is moving where? In front of me. So it's going to look like this right here. Okay, now here's the difference is golf's obviously not played up here. It's played down the ground. So as I tilt towards the golf ball, there's the last piece and there's my side bend. So when I put all three of those together, this is what my backswing would look like. Okay, as I stood up, obviously I've turned where? It's turned in place. Okay, I've turned very centered. But what do we see? I'm seeing this tilting, right? Or this side bending. And also notice the shirt buttons, my chest is pointed where? A little bit more up to the sky. Okay, for the golfer that just turns, this is what I'll end up seeing is how they try to think about that is they'll look something like this over here. And look what happens. My chest is staying pointed down and my left shoulder hasn't gone down and just moves off the golf ball, okay? And if I were to purely turn in the golf swing, this is what I would actually look like. Okay, so that's where it's a bad swing thought for most people because if you actually truly just turned, this is what you would actually look like, okay? And of course we know that that's not what we actually need to be doing, okay? So what do we need to start feeling is not only do we have this turning, okay, or rotating, but I also have to make sure that I have this tilting, right, or side bending in my golf swing. And obviously we also see the chest pointed where? Up to the sky, okay? So again, we do those all individually. Club right across my chest here. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stand up straight. And there's my chest moving where? More up to the sky, not staying down on the ground. From here, I'm gonna turn in place. And there's my shoulder, right shoulder pulling behind me, left shoulder pulling in front of me. And there's that 90 degrees of shoulder turn that everyone's striving for. And then we know golf's not played here, it's played down here. So as I tilt down to the golf ball, there's my backswing. There's a very centered shoulder turn, which is gonna make it a lot easier for me to hit the ground after the golf ball, but also we noticed how much farther back the club gets, right? So again, what does the poorest players look like? Is they're trying to just turn and they would look like this here. The chest is pointed where? Down, and my shoulders are now fairly level, okay? That's what it would look like. So I'm just turning would look like this. So what actually has to happen is, what do we need to feel? I need to feel the left shoulder moving down while the chest moves up, and then look at what that's doing to my left arm and my hands and the butt of the club. It's getting what? It's getting that length in the backswing, that distance that I'm looking for, okay? So we are not gonna think about just trying to turn. Instead, we wanna change this thought into making sure that I am tilting or side bending while I make sure that I am standing up and my chest is up to the sky. So we'll talk a little bit further. So first we're going to talk about just this first piece and this side bending, okay? So here's the setup. And what am I feeling in the backswing? Well, very simply, I'm going to think about what? This left shoulder moving down to the ground. So left shoulder moving down to where the golf ball is, okay? Now, if I just did the shoulder, what would obviously happen? I would obviously move down this way. That's not what we're looking for either. So left shoulder moving down while my shirt buttons and my chest moves up to the sky. Now, when I'm doing this, notice what is automatically happening. I haven't said anything about rotation, but watch what happens. When the left shoulder goes down and the chest goes up, what is automatically happening? You guessed it, there's my rotation. Okay, so for so many golfers that are trying to turn, I'm actually taking that away from them. I don't want you to think about turning. Why? Because the turning actually happens automatically. That's right, you don't have to think about rotating. Rotation is going to happen automatically when your shoulder moves down or you side bend, while at the same time you're extending or your chest is coming up. So if I just took those two cues and thought left shoulder down, chest to the sky, watch what's going to happen. And I stood straight up, there we are, right? I've got all the rotation I needed. I didn't have to think about doing it. Left shoulder down, chest to the sky. There's the backswing. There's the club traveling back farther, getting me more distance, but also making sure that I'm hitting the ground where it's going to make it easier to hit the ground in front of the golf ball. Okay, so again, we are not thinking about turning our body at all. We are just going to simply thinking of shoulder down and chest up. If you do those two movements, you are going to get all the rotation you need for free. More importantly, you're not going to be looking something like this, trying to turn, where the head's moving off the golf ball, the left arm's got nowhere to go. From here, the shoulder went down, the chest went up. Look at how that just starts to unlock my body, okay? And look at how much farther back the club head and the hands can actually travel. That's going to get you more distance, and that's going to get you that extra club head speed that you're looking for. Okay, so what would this look like? As we're hitting the golf ball here, and this is what I'll typically see. Golfers trying to turn, and they start looking something like this here. And what do we notice? My chest is pointed where? Down to the ground. And notice how level my shoulders are to the ground. Now, what does this do? One, it keeps my backswing very short, but also is moving my weight back, and I'm going to be more prone to hitting the ground where? Right back behind the golf ball. So what would we see out of the best players is you're going to see, yes, you're going to see some of this rotation, but you're also going to see this side bending, the left shoulder moving down while the chest moves up to the sky. When I do those two movements, notice how my head stays in place, but also notice where my right shoulder's moving. Where? Back behind my head. Okay, that's this motion here. That's the rotation you're looking for. That's a lot different than what many golfers think about rotation, and that would be looking like this here, okay? So again, do it incorrectly, it's gonna look like this. Okay, and we're prone to hitting the ground first. We're trying to swing too much up on the golf ball. When we look at the best players, they have, yes, some rotation, but more importantly, and what you need to think about is more of the side bend, the shoulder down, while the chest moves up to the sky. That keeps you very centered, but it also helps this left arm get further back, okay? So that would look something like this here. Shoulder down, chest up. Okay, better contact, okay? And also notice how much farther back the left arm gets. That's where I'm gonna get more distance, okay? So again, what could we do to feel this? And again, it's just gonna be simple, those two thoughts. I don't want you to make this any more complicated than it needs to be. in your backswing, your left shoulder needs to work down towards your left foot. I wouldn't even say towards the ball, but be careful that it doesn't move this way on this side of the golf ball. We don't want that. While the shoulder is moving down, the chest moves up to the sky. And what's that doing to the shoulder? It's going to naturally just pull it in for me. I don't have to think about turning. The turning is going to happen automatically. So again, I'm thinking left shoulder down, while at the same time my chest moves up to the sky. Okay, there's my 9 degrees of shoulder turn. There's the left arm getting further back. So I got the shoulder down. We've got the chest up, shoulder down, chest up. Okay, that's going to get my backswing longer. More importantly though, it's also going to make it easier for me to hit the ground where? In front of the golf ball. Because what happens is when we start thinking turning, we make a swing that would look like this. Turning, and now what do I have to do? You guessed it, I got to sway my whole body, my head. Now we'll start looking. That's what the golfer trying to turn will inevitably end up looking like. Whereas the golfer not trying to turn, but making sure that they tilt and extend, shoulder down, chest up, they're going to start looking this way. Okay, more distance. You also notice how much higher that golf ball starts to go as well too. Okay, and that higher ball flight is obviously going to give us a little bit more distance as well. So again, very simply, what are we thinking about? Not trying to turn, shoulder down, chest up to the sky. Shirt buttons up to the sky, that's the extension. Shoulder down, that's the side tilt. When I do both of those movements, what do I get for free? I get all my rotation for free. So shoulder down, chest up, shoulder down, chest up. Okay. That's where I'm going to start getting the distance, not from trying to turn in my backswing. Golfers, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful and hope you found a new way to get a longer backswing by getting rid of that thought of turning. If there's anything you'd like to see in future videos, please make sure to mention it in the comments below and I'll be sure to address it going forward. If you would like to work with me, we can do so in person at Holly Ridge Golf Club on Cape Cod, or we can do so online using the Skillest app, and you'll see links to both of those in the description below. As always, I appreciate you joining me and I look forward to seeing you again next time.